Friday. We made it through another week, and yet we are another week closer to summer. Yes, kind of hints of like on a weird summer here. We have free time and we have work time, kind of a balancing act. However, what I wanted to do is give you a quick recording, and I want to go over some material that I put on Google Classroom. So there are three things that I posted today. Um, and hopefully these will help you. And all three are from AP. Two of them are specifically for the test guide and getting ready for that. So what I've done here is I've pulled up Google Classroom. This is first period. I could go to third or seventh period. It's going to have the same thing. The three things I'm talking about are the materials. I put them as separate folders just because it's easier for me that way. I don't know if it's easier for y'all, but here's the rubric, what they call the testing guide, and then the exam checklist. So let's go through them. The rubric, very quick. When you open this, it's going to have this PDF here. You click on here, and this is the rubric that they developed last year for this year's exam. So it has all three questions on it, if you see. Similar to when for this week's practice test, they gave us, instead of giving us one that just has the question 2 on it, they gave us one that has all three. My guess would be that that's something that they were going to utilize for the exam. But regardless, when you look at this, question 1, 2, or 3, we are really focusing on question 2. That's the only thing we're focusing on right now. So when you come down here into the rubric, you're going to be looking at the scoring rubric for question 2. And in my comments, you're seeing that I'm talking about a thesis, I'm talking about evidence and commentary, and I'm talking about sophistication. And here are I mentioned row A, row B, row C. This is what I'm talking about when I'm doing that. I've given you this in previous items, but I don't know that I have given you a breakdown of where you need to be. So we're actually on page 4, 5, and 6, pages 4, 5, and 6 of the rubric. That's all you need to really focus on with the rubric. So when you go in here, you're looking, hey, to get this point in the thesis, this is what I need to do. These additional notes are very beneficial as well. When I'm looking at my scoring criteria for row B for my evidence and commentary, this is what they're suggesting. So provide some specific relevant evidence. Okay, 2 points. Commentary explains how some of the evidence relates to the student's argument, but no line of reasoning is established or the line of reasoning is faulty. So if you've misread it or whatnot, okay. But also, if you've given me like he uses repetition and uses dark imagery, and then you give me a paragraph on that and a paragraph on the other, but you're not making that connection, that is lacking a line of reasoning. Your line of reasoning needs to show how these things work together. Therefore, when we go to 3 points out of this explains how some of their evidence supports a line of reasoning, when you're making those transition comments that are kind of connecting these things, and you make it in the introduction and the conclusion, all right, but when it permeates, that when they go consistently explains how the evidence supports a line of reasoning, that's that consistency that they're looking for the 4 points. And then sophistication here. Response demonstrates sophistication of thought and or complex understanding of the rhetorical situation. Not just giving me a, hey, uses this and this. The nuances and understanding where we are. Like, for example, on the last one, Barry. Barry was not, he's writing and reflection of the epidemic, of the flu epidemic. He's a contemporary guy. You can Google him. He gives interviews and all that. He's not somebody who was living through it. He was somebody who was going. And when that's clear, when we start looking at, they don't make it clear in the question, but Einstein, when is Einstein really popular? When is Einstein really doing his stuff? Well, it's after that. So please make sure that you are reading those carefully. So that would be one of those sophistication things that you might not get that particular point. So look over these, and that's all Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that. On the material testing guide, this is a nice little document they put together. Blow this up a bit. And this first of all, I would like to say that their expectation is that you have read all of this. If you look at this and you're like, oh, I'm not going through that, and you screw up on test day, they're going to say, okay, well, did you go through that? And you might say yes, but they're giving you every bit of information you need here. It's quite a bit of information. I'm not going to disagree with that, but they are giving you the information. It's laid out pretty nicely. So some of the resources here, they have this table of contents, what's going on, and they've laid this document out. It's multiple pages. There's a lot to take in here, but this is for all of your exams, not just for my AP exam. If you have other AP exams you're taking, has start times and the days for all this. So we look at we are not English literature. We are English language and composition. So we are May 20th, Wednesday, May 20th. So that is 2 weeks from Wednesday. So we're 2.5 weeks out where we're taking this test. We will be beginning at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Everybody needs to be ready during that time. So you need to schedule your time on the 20th to be ready to take the exam at 2 o'clock Eastern time at your computer. So that means you need to be there well ahead of time. You need to let your siblings and your family know that you need this space and this time. You need to get prepared for this. So they have this laid out for you. They have the makeup dates for whatever reason you can't or something happens technologically there. There are makeup dates. Going back to, let's look at, so we have English language and composition, June 5th. And during this time here, it is 12 o'clock noon. So at noon time on the 5th is the makeup date. That's the only two opportunities that we have for taking this. They're going to go talking about the reminders, and they have all of this, what to expect from it, what are some of the issues, how you can submit your things. All of the information you need for this exam, I've read through it, is in here. I'm finding and looking through this, and we don't have to worry about music theory or anything, but it seems to me, for the most of you, that having your computer or your laptop or your tablet and typing the exam in Google Docs and then just uploading it to your to the document, or copying, pasting, and putting it into the document, that's going to be the easiest way to get this accomplished. So as we're doing this practice, we did this practice this week, we have a practice next week, we have a practice the week after, and then the week after that's the exam. So we have a couple more practices with feedback coming to get to you, which are moving very well forward. I think you guys are going to do fine. So that's, please read through this, and that's all I have to say about that. Now, this is this little exam study, the exam day checklist. They're expecting you to have this document next to you, so print it up, or have at least the information here for yourself, and it is exactly what they say it is. It is a checklist. It is 2 pages, and it is, hey, you're going to get, and they explain it in the other guide, you're going to get an email the week before, I think a week before, with your exam key. That's yours. So you keep that key. You write it down. The name of your exam, AP Language and English Language and Composition. Exam date, make sure you have the date and the time. It's the 20th at 2 o'clock is the original. And the check-in time of 12 o'clock to you must be there. Calculate, start your time. Okay. You want to be there early. And then they have all of this stuff. I'm ready for the test. I have looked at my College Board. I have my plug. It's all plugged in. I have my browser open. I have practiced. I've gone to this AP demo. I've done this. They're expecting you to have done that. I've reviewed the list of requirements for this material exam, and I have all of that taken care of here. If I have accommodations, I've checked those. I'm taking care of that. We don't have to worry about the music or the world language or anything like that, unless you're, again, in Miss Bray's AP Spanish class or something of that nature. And then after the exam, they give you information there. A couple of interesting things. First of all, look through these. If you have questions on the documents that I've just posted up here, don't hesitate to ask me. I'll be happy to help you with whatever it is that you're confused about. I want to make sure that, so we have these things 2 weeks out. That means that you should not be sure why that is on there. There it is. Um, you should have plenty of time to get this taken care of. You have 2.5 weeks to go through these and go through your practice and go through the things. And the things that we're doing online, we've already had a couple students like, oh my gosh, I clicked it and it started timing me. What do I do? Well, please know that on the 20th at 2 o'clock, when it's time to begin, you're going to begin. If you start logging in at 2:15, they're not going to let you take it. You might be able to go to the makeup, but then at that time at noon, at 12:10, they're not going to let you jump in there. There's going to be a window of work time that they're going to let you do this. And again, they're giving you 45 minutes to write. It's going to say 50 minutes. They're giving you 45 minutes to write and 5 minutes to upload your documents to there. Please, I'm hearing from several of you, well, can I keep writing during that time? Yes, but if you push yourself to that last second, like we procrastinate, and I see where on the AP site where everybody's waiting until today to get this thing done. Not everybody, but many people, most people. If you wait till one more minute, and then what if something happens in that 1 minute at the end where you think you got this and you don't, and all that work is just for naught? So they know that you have 45 minutes to write this thing. They know that it's a draft. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be a reader this year or not. They haven't sent out the invitations yet. But if I am, I'm looking forward to that. But if I'm not, I wanted to bring to your attention as well something I think is really interesting they're doing this year is since you guys are submitting them electronically and since they have access to them, once the grading is done, they are going to give me access to your essays. So, for example, if student A crushes it and they get a 5 out of 6 and that's a 4 or 5 on the exam and they're stoked. But we have another student who's like, man, I thought I did really well. I read my essay. It's really good. I felt it was good, but I only got 3 out of 6 and I got a 2. So what do I do for this? I can absolutely read this exam and go over it and submit it for re-evaluation based on that. So they're allowing us a window of opportunity to look at these. Now, if I look at it, I'm like, yeah, student A, I see how they got that. So I get why this is not the score that you want, but sorry for that. It's going to have to meet the criteria for me to send it back in, but I will gladly do that, and we have that opportunity over the summer to knock that out. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this short, as short as I can. These 3 documents, going back over, we have the rubric, which is up here, solid for you, the testing guide, which you need to look over, and the checklist that you need to have with you on your exam day. Now, that's for any of your exams. So if you're taking multiple AP exams, you should know your test dates for those days. For my exam, our exam, it is the 20th of May at 2 o'clock. After that, it's June 5th if you have to do the makeup, and that is at noon. There you go. Any questions, let me know. Happy to help you. Thank you very much.